The Legend of Zelda is Nintendo's 4th best-selling franchise, right underneath the Wii Series. Yet the series still seems almost niche in the gaming community. Not to say it's some obscure hidden gem, there's definitely a die-hard fanbase, myself included. You'll see a few references here and there, and I'm sure most gamers are at least aware of it, but you don't often see it in the mainstream. There's no Netflix series, there aren't any roller coasters, there isn't even a rushed, mediocre, family-friendly movie. I want that. Well, there's this.
Hey! Excuse me, Prince.
Oh, just get moving.
But that's for the memes. So what's going on, guy? What does the Wii series have that Zelda doesn't? And what demographic would want to buy a little dinky thing like this? Me. If you're struggling to get into Zelda, one reason might be because it's not exactly a pick up and play kind of game. I mean, this is a deep and complex game, right? Well, at least the 3D games are. The 2D games are more straightforward and probably a bit easier to jump into. Another reason might be the difficulty curve. If you aren't familiar with all of the Zelda puzzle tropes, you might get stuck early in a game. They really didn't start holding your hand super tight until Skyward Sword. Even a veteran player can get stuck while replaying a game sometimes. Especially the older one. But that's the thing, Zelda isn't about knowing exactly what to do and when to do it. You're gonna have to figure some stuff out on your own sometimes. Or just go here. A good Zelda game is one that inspires experimentation and exploration. When Breath of the Wild was released in 2017, it was a console seller. It's critic and player acclaimed, and it's the best-selling Zelda game with over 27 million copies sold, tripling the second best sold, Twilight Princess. So how can you go backwards from there? Say a casual gamer asks you, "Bro, what Zelda game should I start with, bro?" What do you say? You can't start with this. And the story's all over the place, so that doesn't even matter at all. Also, should you go with 2D or 3D? Console or handheld? Good or not quite so good? Probably not that one. Start with Breath of the Wild, you might say. Well, stupid. You stupid idiot jerk. This is why that might not be the best starting point. All Zelda games prior to Breath of the Wild are, for the most part, conceptually the same. Earn a sword, or just take it, intro/tutorial, get the linear story going, then go on a dungeon crawling quest gathering new toys, upgrades, and skills along the way. Breath of the Wild is not that, but it carries the same spirit of those other games. The sense of adventure is there, all the fantasy elements, the charm, this crazy guy. But this game is so different, so expansive, so disconnected from the series, that it would be a complete shock to go from this to this. Almost immediately, you're thrown into a huge open world, and with enough skill, you're able to traverse it end to end with a plethora of alluring landmarks in between. And after learning the controls, it's easy to see a casual player being pretty curious about what's over that hill over there. I'd consider classic games like A Link to the Past and The Wind Waker to be masterpieces, and I might even recommend these games as someone's intro to the series. Some might say Ocarina of Time, the first 3D Zelda game, is a good place to start. Or even the Minish Cap if you're looking for a really solid 2D adventure with beautiful pixel art. Twilight Princess if you want a more serious story and great dungeons. Skyward Sword if you're going down the canonical timeline route. If you're looking for a more non-linear experience, A Link Between Worlds breaks the mold and allows you to choose the order in which you beat the dungeons. It all depends on what piqued your interest in The Legend of Zelda. Funny enough, my first exposure to the franchise was from Smash Bros. 64. I was like,
Ah, look at the cool elf boy.
The Legend of Zelda is an epic and immersive one. The franchise was as groundbreaking then as it is now, with all of the characters, the races, the enemies, the items, the weapons, the music, the puzzles, the landmarks, and the general sense of exploration. This world is so well established that you can play any 2 games from the series and undoubtedly know that they are cut from the same cloth. If you have any interest in the games but don't know where to start, I guess I'd recommend playing at least a few of the old ones, not these, and if those don't get you hooked, Breath of the Wild should. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to get into Zelda but you're having trouble, or you disagree with any of the points I'm making, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'd like to talk about this I love talking about this stuff. That's the thing, if you find someone that likes Zelda, then it's like your brothers, your sisters. It's like a big deal. I don't know, I have like 2 friends that like Zelda. So be friends with me, and let's talk about it, huh?